then the results of those choices, they don't necessarily have to consume us. They don't necessarily have to just take us out, right? But we still have to, like I said, I think we have to just be mindful, man. I think from knowing that our choices do have consequences, but the consequences can force us to do better and be better. We don't necessarily have to always wallow in the bad consequences, I guess, of our choices, what I'm saying.
I mean, because that's a part of who you are. You see what I'm saying? I don't apologize for making mistakes and making even conscious decisions that I don't call mistakes. Because mistakes is something you're doing unconsciously. But if I consciously go out and do something wrong, that's not a mistake, bro.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's a choice.
That's something we need to stop saying. That's a choice. So, you know, when I was younger, when I picked up that pistol, you know, I was younger in my development, so it still was conscious, but I didn't know the magnitude of the repercussions of what I did, you know what I mean, was doing at that time. So I think God had more mercy on me, you know?
Right.
And then he woke me up in prison. So I think all that had something to do. Because you always going to get signs, bro. And this is going back to design. Your conscience is going to tell you, do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And keep talking about the inside of you. Because
you broke up a little bit, my man.
You know, I said, if you really don't know who you are, you know, and we don't know who we are, bro, really. And then we learn some stuff about ourselves, but really God is our teacher. You know what I mean?
The
and
best
I
teacher.
keep going back to that word.
Well, that's where it starts. You got to go back to it.
You see what I'm saying? Because once you understand that you don't know and you're in a state of learning of who you are, it's scary, bro. You know what I mean? To look yourself in the mirror, and you got to come to grips with, this is who I am. And you got to accept who you are. And when you don't, bro, know who you are, you're not on that journey of finding out. You hurt a lot of people along the way. You see what I'm saying? We keep talking about relationships and stuff.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
And that's because we're in a state of not knowing. And then people get paid off our misery.
Right.
All the time. Big bucks.
Yeah.
Big bucks.
Yeah. Hey, you can do it. Dream big. And all these food sales and stuff like this, bro, because they're praying on. They ain't listen, bro.
P-R-E-Y.
People do motivational speak. Yeah, when people do that, bro, they're not saying this stuff to the strong. Like, we don't need motivational speaking, bro. I mean, we need motivation from each other. We just rubbing elbows, but we don't need nobody to lift us up because we in a state of, on a journey. We know who we are, bro. Somebody me, you, and Vincent, and other people. We don't have to go pay to hear Les Brown tell us we're great. We know this. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's for who? People who don't know.
People who don't know. Right.
People who don't know, and bro, you got to pay a pretty penny. So, you know, you got to learn to think for yourself, bro. That's the most dangerous thing, not knowing yourself. If you don't think for yourself, like you said, Shelton, somebody going to make some decisions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mr. Book.
There's a scripture, man, that reads, God says he will not change the conditions of man until they change what's within themselves. Like, he would not change the conditions of the people until they change what's within themselves, right? And I said that because, you know, he always says at the end of a show to give solutions. And we always say the same thing as far as the solution is in the problem. They run hand in hand. They connected with each other. And so when we find ourselves, man, just constantly spinning our wheels, right? We have to reflect on these things. And it also goes to say that, like, I'm going to give an example. Like, the word, like, and this is like understanding what Brandon was saying, man, and knowing, not knowing certain things. Not knowing things can keep you stagnated. It can keep you stagnated. And that's what the growth process is all about. That's what it's all about. It's all about constantly evolving. And the example is, like, the word virgin, right? The word virgin, if we look in the Greek concordance, the word virgin means a woman who wasn't married, had nothing to do with sex. However, when we tie those together, because in the church and pretty much all religions, they say the best thing to do is to wait until you marry before you have sex. Now, when we tie that together, when we tie those two together, we can get some understanding out of that. We can get some understanding of why that word virgin in the Greek concordance meant a woman who wasn't married, right? Had nothing to do with anything sexual, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the traditional belief that's what's been adopted and what's been accepted, it's totally different from the origin of the word. So what do that leave people? You know, and these are the things that we have to think about, and we have to always voice it. We have to always let it be known, because when you start out, if you start out wrong, if you start out on the wrong, if somebody gives you some direction and tell you, hey, we going from Houston to Dallas and it's going south, and you go north, well, it's gonna take you a long time to get there. You know what I mean? Because we start wrong. We start out wrong, and a lot of this information, man, a lot of people don't know it. You know, and when you have false concepts like that, or concepts that don't really even exist, we can understand why the world is in so much turmoil, right? We can understand why this turmoil is going on, because, and it goes back to what Brandon said. We got to deal with the Creator that created us, and that's what the prescription is. We have to do the will of the Creator, and once we do that, we'll start to eliminate our problems. You know what I mean? Because if we believe in purity, everything can't be contaminated.
Right.
You know what? Yeah, most definitely.
Choose. It has to be deliberate. It has to be deliberate choices. It has to be, again, a made-up mind and made-up people willing to do it. Whether it's a few that's willing to get out there and get it done, well, or thousands, right? It has to start somewhere.
Right. Yeah. And just like, and not even just on a religious level, but if you really know, I mean, there's a spiritual level. That's even more when you really know, because that's going to also do things about your character as well.
Right.
Because a person can have this knowledge and still be, you know, treating people wrong and all this stuff. Yeah. They can tap into who they are, but, you know, and I think that most successful people have this. Most successful people, if you study them, they don't wait for people to tell them who they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they come out. A lot of them, we can't use either circumstances either, because you know a lot of the people who are successful came out of real terrible circumstances.
Right.
But they knew they got in touch with who they were.
Right.
And they knew that they was great. I remember Monique. I remember reading a thing about Monique, the comedian Monique. She said she knew she was a star before she was a star. You know what I mean? So when you think like that, you know, rapper T.I., he said he knew he was different. He said I was highly intelligent and cool. So people are really kind of new. They just don't get that, bro. They say the stars line up. I do believe the universe speaks to you. You know what you put out.
What you put out, man.
You know,
the universe is listening, man. That's what we're talking about, living it by design, because you're not just taking it as it comes, you know, and not listening to the noise, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the noise. That's right.
You're tuning it out, man.
So you got to look at what separates the successful people from people who are not.
How they think.
You know what I mean? Some of them, it's not that they just super geniuses. No, it's not that. Even though we got some geniuses in order, but that's not what it is. It's some of their character, some of their disciplines, the will to go get it. Because that's what it's about. Your desire, your will. You know, if you want it bad enough, bro, I do believe that you can do it. Now, you got to be careful, though, because at what expense? You know what I mean? Right. I don't want nothing that's going to destroy me and destroy my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, you know, I'm a go-getter. But at the same time, just like I say, you got to look at what's going to make you stand out. Just like this podcast, you know what I mean? Just like we trying to do music. What is going to make us stand out?
Right.
You know what I mean? Among our peers. You know, and you got to be true to who you are, the essence of who you are. You ain't don't do like everybody else. And you know, again, that's what successful people do too. They don't beat to other people's drum, bro.
Exactly.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
You do your own thing, man, your own way, man. Hey, real quick, man, shout out Christy Bishop, man. She gave a comment, man. She's always tuning in, man, and showing love, man. I really appreciate that. Hold on, let me get that. Let me get this comment real quick, man. Before we go, we get into keep on moving around. She said, "You are right on what you guys were saying too, though. You are the author of the story you call life, right? Why not
Right.
live a life by design, your design, rather than defaulting to someone else's agenda?"
Right.
Right.
That's all over it, right? I mean, you either gonna make the choice to do or to not to do, man. We say when people are successful, when people succeed, as y'all guys were talking about those people, T.I. and those people, man, that succeed. They didn't see the many times that they got told no, right? They didn't see those times that the hurt and the pain and the aggravation and the hours they stayed up in the anguish and all that. But because their mind kept telling them, because the vision was already there. See, faith will take you there before your body will get there. You understand what I'm saying? So before you even get to that, what it's saying, because you believe it and the seed is already planted. See, you don't know what's going on the ground until you see it. Then once you start seeing those results, then it just starts going and going and going. But because they didn't give up and they didn't quit, people around them may have quit. People around them may have given up. But when you have that, man, that understanding, you do live a life by design because you set in the agenda. You writing the plays, man. You know what I mean, though? You guys are sports guys and stuff like that, man. You drawing the play that's going to be the best play. Okay, last night, y'all saw the Rockets game, right? Last night, if y'all saw that game, right? They didn't draw the right plays. They didn't draw the right plays. They played the isolation ball. You can't do that. You know, not against them cats that everybody is going to get 20-some points. They're going to spread it around. So they had the right plays. Not necessarily plays. They had the right players, right? Because you can draw out the right plays and have all this thing perfect. But if you ain't got the right people to go execute it, it'll never work.
Right? It's true.
I can speak, and I'm going to say this. I know Vincent is going to jump in this. And this is just even about my own life, bro.
Yeah.
I come from a birth situation. And the birth situation is single parent home. My mama had 5 boys. You know, you're not expected to be successful. You know, I ended up going to prison all them years. That's another, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's something that happened to me in there that made me get in touch with who I was.
Right.
And I learned from different people, such as Vincent, and I met a lot of people. But it was something already in me before I even went there. And I knew, even when I was in society, bro, I knew I was kind of different from my peers. I was the same. I wasn't better. That's not what I'm saying. But I was different. When we used to sit on the crib, bro, I used to see, like, you know, a lot of my partners, they was selling drugs, and they be beating up dope fiends and making fun of them. In my mind, I hated it, bro. In my heart, I hated it. So, see, that's how I knew I was different. But I didn't speak out against it because I didn't have that street shit like I got now. But I hated it, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I was in prison, and I started reading, and all this stuff came. That's when the motivation was speaking, bro. I hated school, you know what I mean?
Right.
Hated it. I couldn't even pronounce my words right, you know, proper. You know, I couldn't, my vocabulary, I started studying the dictionary. I started growing, you know, educating myself, reading myself. So I was reading all these books about successful, 8 Keys to Greatness and all that. So now that stuff paid off. It's going to pay off. When I came down to society, I took everything I read and learned how to hustle with it. Because all these degrees, bro, these, over with, bro. It's about how you hustle. Ain't talking about no drugs, but how you going to use the knowledge that you have to get there. Because all y'all going for the same job. How you use it? Or once you use the knowledge that you have to turn it into a business. You know what I mean? So it's like you used to hustle, you know. So how we going to, you think about these rap dudes, you know, people now come dudes who's in the street. They do better than they do. Who got all these degrees, you know, they don't. They just sit in class learning. You feel me?
Right.
But you are not doing anything with it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So what? Because all y'all gonna go apply for the same job.
Right.
You stand down and you hire you. You see what I'm saying? So this over with, bro. I use the same kind of hustle. I used to got to get my dough, sell dope pop by officer. That was hard as hell to do. Vincent will tell you. Hey, man, I
Right.
used to get in my sales, such and such. I use the same mentality when I went to get a job.
Right.
You know what I mean?